What is up, playboys and playgirls? Today we're going to be reviewing, giving you my first impressions of the, not a mid-month, but feels like a mid-month December update Wastelanders for just Bullseye and Hawkeye, because despite what many people are asking questions about, Sharon and Gambit are not in the game yet. All we get for them, besides being able to check out their uniforms here and also see them in the skill preview, is this little cool glowing button that says scheduled release 5 days 3 hours, and that will also coincide with when the rest of the winter seasonals will be available, in case you want to pick up such classics as Kingpin's useless uniform, or Gwenpool's useless uniform, or Lady Deadpool, or Baby Groot, or a bunch of other ones. There are some good ones splashed in there, like White Fox, obviously. Black Cat is pretty good. Possibly Magneto, possibly Magic. And then, of course, recently, last year, Rogue and Coulson. But yeah, not a lot to talk about from the character point of view in this update. And it kind of blows my mind in a way that this is a full update, because it's essentially, character-wise, only featuring 2 characters, Bullseye and Hawkeye. That's it. Genuinely, if you're just interested in the characters, there are only 2 characters that you can play with for the first full week, almost the first full week, whatever, 6 days of the update. And that's pretty bad, because even the key art features Gambit, right? So even the key art is kind of lying. And I don't want to spend the whole video mocking or making fun of or complaining about this decision by the developers, but genuinely, I have three main ideas here. One, you cannot release a full update with, 7 to 8 hours of maintenance, and there's only 2 uniforms and no new characters, as like in the fact of characters, right? I know that there's content. I know that there's dispatch. I know there's a crafting event. I know that there's timeline survival. I understand. But just with that's just not how the game is, right? There's 272 characters, and you're telling me that this update could only feature 2 characters getting a new uniform and no new characters? I think 3 has to be like the bare minimum cutoff, because essentially 2 uniforms is a mid-month. That's exactly what it's a mid-month. That's exactly what it is. And then next week we're going to get 2 more, but they've already told us that there's not going to be a mid-month, which means that Gambit and Sharon are basically the mid-month update just 1 week earlier. So you're basically just saying we're getting a mid-month now, and then we're going to get another mid-month in a week, and then what? We're going to have 2 to 3 weeks of literally dead, no update content. And that's pretty bad. One extra uniform doesn't necessarily solve that problem completely, but it sure as hell helps the players tide them over longer before that, dread and boredom and, futility sets in. So I do have to go hard on the criticism here, because 2 uniforms is just not enough. It's not enough, not at all. This genuinely, from a character point of view, from a uniform point of view, feels like 2 mid-months back to back, when it should actually be a full update. Now, what is keeping the update afloat? If that's the case, Alex, if everything's so bad, shouldn't you be crapping all over this update? Well, no, because there are actually 2 things that are keeping this update afloat. The first one we knew was coming. It is the 14th chapter, excuse me, not the 4th chapter, the 14th sector chapter, whatever you want to call it, of Dispatch. And this gives you, I would say I had like an entertaining half an hour to an hour coming up with different teams, auto-playing some, manual playing some of the others. And as you can see, I'm still not done. So this is genuinely probably an hour plus of real content where I'm going back and forth with my roster. I'm playing, I'm trying different combinations. It's interesting, it's engaging. I love this kind of content. I think we need more of it in the game. But I also understand that, expecting them to pump out hours of this content every single update is unrealistic, right? It's just too much content. The game would become bloated super duper fast. That being said, you get through the dispatch. It's quite nice. You can collect tier 4 materials, which is great. You get an extra source of gold, which is cool. The other big thing that is sort of buttressing the quality of this update and keeping everything afloat is the crafting event. Now, the crafting event was not featured at all whatsoever in the patch notes. It just appeared out of nowhere with the update, And this is really what's got people talking. So if you notice an uptick in people in the game, if you notice an uptick in conversations or Discord activity or whatever, it's mainly because of this event. And this event, pretty straightforwardly, allows you a free CTP selector, a free random mighty CTP, and a free random brilliant CTP. And new players can absolutely secure the first two with very little issue, and then even free-to-play veterans will be able to secure the last one. On top of this, so this is already quite a good start, right? Up to three free CTPs, including a brilliant. On top of that, if you take a look at the list of available CTPs, they've narrowed down the list and gotten rid of some of the worst CTPs. Obviously, Liberation is not here, which is, the most rare right now, but they did go ahead and get rid of Transcendence, Patience, and Destruction. So they got rid of some of the worst and Regeneration, excuse me. 4 CTPs, 4 of the worst CTPs, I would say as well, are not here, which increases your odds, right? You have about a 12.5% chance to pull a CTP, and like a good one, right? Like the one you want. And so assuming that Rage and Conquest are on the top of everyone's list, that's a 1 in 4. There's a 25% chance. You're guaranteed to get a brilliant. There's no fail, right? It's a 1 of 1 crafting count, and it's a 100% chance. It does cost 70 million gold, but there's no failure. There's no like, oh, I tried all week and I couldn't craft it. No. You're done, which is great. And then on top of that, there's a 25% chance that you actually get like the best option. And same thing goes for the Mighty, where they got rid of most of the bad options. I would say Authority and maybe Energy, depending on who you ask. Those are probably, you could take it or leave it kind of thing. But this is a fantastic event, and it's on for the next 19 days, and it rewards players who are both grinding actively and who are going to start grinding now, but it also rewards players, as you can see from these bonus missions, it rewards players who have grinded in the past. You actually get rewards for having done the dispatch challenges in advance. So this is really, really nice. I gotta say, this is a top tier event. And if what they said in the dev note that they wanted to do more events, if the events are gonna look like this, sign me up. Genuinely, this is probably half of the reason, at least 50% of the reason why this update is good in my eyes, and probably in the eyes of most players. So this is absolutely massive. I cannot stress enough how much events like these are needed in the game on a regular basis, but particularly needed for updates where the devs can see that the content that they're sending out is weaker than usual. For example, in July or June, when they have the Fantastic Four update to coincide with the MCU movie, that update's probably going to be quite heavy on the content, because you're going to get a new uniform for Richard, a new uniform for Sue, a new uniform for Thing and Human Torch, and maybe Franklin, maybe whatever the girl's name. I can't remember her name now. Valeria, maybe Doom, maybe Mole Man as a new character, right? Depending on what's going on. There's a ton of content. That update's not really going to need a big event like this to coincide with it. I mean, shit, it would be nice, but we don't need to get these updates every single month. On the other hand, if they're going to drop another stinker like this with 2 uniforms in the main update, then an event like this, not necessarily this one exactly, but maybe they have this kind of event for P cards, for crafted P cards. Maybe they have this event for 6-star artifacts, right? You can see where this is going, right? Would be fantastic. Long events where it's 2 weeks plus, you can plan it out. You can, choose how much grinding you want to do. It's really, really nice. And there's even more rewards that I haven't even discussed. These advanced material chests that you can craft up to 100 of with tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 materials. These are great. And the nice thing here, again, is they've made a lot of good design choices. Rather than having a daily limit so that if you forget and you only craft on the last day, you missed out on 90% of the rewards, they got rid of that stupid daily limit. There's just 100% craft count. You can get it all done now. You can get it all done on the last day, or you can slowly, craft 10 per day for the next 19 days or whatever, 7 per day for the next however many days. You know what I mean? So really, really good. Overall, I gotta say, like, this is the event that I would craft if I worked at Netmarble. And so I'm really proud of them in a way for coming up with this and kind of sticking to it with really good execution. It's really nice. But yeah, that's to say the rest of the update is kind of a letdown. And that is saying a lot, because Bullseye and Hawkeye are not bad. if you want a quick review here, they're both proc friendly, which is quite nice, and they both hit quite hard for level 70s. Now, I haven't been able to take them to level 80 or tier 4 in order to investigate further, but from what I've seen, Bullseye is now the de facto best speed villain for ABX. So you have some meta splash in there, as well as just solid high damage dealing tier 3 level 70s or whatever, transcendent level 70s with lots of burst damage and easy to play rotations. That's not bad at all, but the problem is there's just not enough. There's only 2 of them, and they're both the same typing, so it feels very samey, right? Really, the only thing that differentiates them is that one's a hero and one's a villain. Everything else is the same, so it feels kind of bad. Not having a new tier 3 in this update, so anybody that has book selectors or has these book pities sitting there clogged up 10 out of 10 for the past, month or 2, they're scratching their heads wondering what's going on, right? Would it have been so hard to throw a cheap tier 3 or 2 at some of these tier 2s that are waiting here in the bottom of the barrel? Probably not, right? Karnak could have gotten a tier 3 with this update, or maybe Misty Knight or Mockingbird or something like that. I'm sure they don't have plans for all of these characters. Maybe Hellcat, someone like that, whatever. Black Cat even. I don't know. It wouldn't have broken the game. I know that Crossbones and Zemo got upgraded, but Transcendent characters are different. So, yeah, I do feel like people in the community are a little bit about not having a tier 3 for a while now. If you didn't get Sleeper and you already had Carnage and the rest of the gang upgraded tier 3 or beyond from the last full update. So yeah, that's basically all there is to discuss. There's a few more nicks and knacks down, around the corner, like the Timeline Survival with Kate Bishop, and then in the archive you have the new token that you can collect, the new sorry, not token, it's icon that you can collect, the Goodbye 2024 icon with Gambit if you have all of the tokens, because there are now no more token events for the rest of this year. There obviously is going to be 2025, that's coming soon, but it's not in the game yet, I believe. Yeah, 2025 in progress. There you go. Oh yeah, you can actually see the New Year Holiday Token event and then the New Year Holiday Event Quest token. Interesting. That's pretty cool. I actually didn't notice that until just now. So yeah, so some nice stuff here and there. Some surprises, mainly that crafting event. But overall, I think that they need to plan this out a little bit better, and they need to maybe try to add a little bit more content to some of these updates. But yeah, from what we did get, it's quite nice. Like, I do think the new Dispatch chapter is fun. I think the Medusa thing kind of sucks with 14.5 because she's so bad, and people are now wondering when is she going to get her rework, because she was part of the 2024 voting poll. Also, we didn't get a voting poll for 2025. Does that mean that things are already locked in place and decided because of MCU content or something else? Who knows? But yeah, that's basically my take thus far on the update. I'm not hating it, but I'm also not like super insanely hyped to jump into the game, and people have a lot of time around the holidays. You want them to be jumping into your games. I will be jumping in because of the crafting event, and I'll make a separate video breaking that down and all the tips that you need to succeed there. But again, if it weren't for the crafting event, this would be pretty sleeper for me. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Merry Christmas. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.